Welcome back to K-Drama Lens. Stay right here with me. Don't rush. Don't skip ahead. Because what unfolded during Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei's traditional Chinese wedding wasn't meant to be consumed quickly. It was meant to be absorbed, the way incense slowly fills a room, unseen at first, then impossible to ignore. First, it arrived quietly. No dramatic countdown. No overwhelming announcements. Just subtle confirmations that something meaningful had taken place. And almost immediately people felt it. Not excitement alone, but curiosity. The kind that makes you lean closer, lower your volume, and pay attention. The kind that makes you stay. Think about that for a moment. In a world overflowing with content, how often does something pull you in without shouting? How often does silence speak louder than spectacle? As more details emerged, it became clear that this wedding wasn't designed for spectacle. It was designed for purpose. Tradition wasn't used as decoration. It was the foundation. Every element carried weight. Every choice felt intentional. And slowly, without trying, the ceremony began to speak to people far beyond the couple themselves. The atmosphere wasn't chaotic. It was grounded. Almost sacred. Watching it felt like stepping into a different rhythm of time, where nothing was rushed and everything mattered. Where moments were allowed to breathe. Where meaning wasn't explained, it was felt. That alone was enough to make the world pause. Fans began to notice the silence between moments, the respect embedded in gestures, the way the ceremony honored not just love, but lineage. This wasn't about two individuals standing alone. It was about families, ancestors, and futures intertwining. About acknowledging where you come from before deciding where you're going. And that's when emotions began to rise. People who had followed Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei for years felt something deeper than joy. They felt pride. A quiet pride, the kind that settles in your chest. Others, who barely knew their story, felt unexpected emotion. Some admitted they didn't understand all the rituals, yet somehow understood the meaning. They couldn't explain it, but they felt it. That's the power of authenticity. As images circulated, reactions poured in from every corner of the world. Different languages, different cultures, same response. Words like timeless, beautiful, and powerful appeared again and again. Not because the wedding was extravagant, but because it was sincere. Because it felt untouched by performance. Because it reminded people that love could be quiet, intentional, and deeply human. Let me ask you, when was the last time sincerity went viral? The ceremony didn't chase modern trends, yet it felt refreshing. It didn't rely on excess, yet it felt abundant. There were no unnecessary distractions, no forced moments. And in that simplicity, people found themselves reflecting on love, on commitment, on the things that truly matter when the noise fades away. Some fans said the wedding reminded them of their grandparents' stories. Others said it made them want to reconnect with their own traditions. Some even said it made them rethink what they want their own future to look like. That's when it became clear. This wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was a mirror. And the world kept watching. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei didn't present a fantasy. They presented a truth. A truth that love can be quiet and still powerful. That tradition can feel modern when it's lived, not staged. That respect can be more striking than extravagance. That intention can be more memorable than excess. That care can travel farther than grandeur. As conversations continued, one theme kept resurfacing. This wedding felt like a reminder. A reminder that before cameras, before fame, before timelines and trends, there were rituals meant to ground us. Meant to remind us who we are and where we come from. Meant to slow us down in a world that constantly demands speed. Meant to give us pause, reflection, and perspective. People didn't just watch this wedding. They sat with it. They replayed moments not to analyze, but to feel again. They shared clips not to impress, but to say, look at this means something. They talked about the gestures, the colors, the subtle nods to history, the quiet smiles. They dissected every detail, not for criticism but for understanding. And maybe that's why it stunned the world. Because it didn't try to. In choosing tradition, Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei chose depth. In choosing restraint, they created impact. In choosing meaning, they created a moment that will linger long after the headlines fade. A moment that doesn't age quickly because it was never chasing the present. It was honoring the past while stepping into the future. A moment that became timeless precisely because it didn't ask to be remembered. It simply deserved it. And here's the thing. This wedding became more than a ceremony. It became a conversation. Across continents, languages, and cultures, people were talking not just about a wedding but about values, about roots, about family, and about love. They were reflecting on their own traditions, their own choices, their own lives. That is a rare power. So let me bring it back to you again. What did this wedding stir inside you? Did it make you nostalgic, curious, emotional? Did it remind you of something you thought you'd forgotten? Or did it simply make you stop and breathe for a moment longer than usual? Did it remind you that meaning often hides in simplicity? That love often grows in quiet places? That history often speaks through gestures and rituals? Share your thoughts in the comments. Because here at KDrama Lens, stories don't end when the video does. They live on in the conversations we have together. In the feelings we carry forward. In the moments we choose to remember. In the lessons we reflect on. In the quiet inspiration that nudges us toward our own meaningful choices. Stay with me. Stay present. Because some moments don't just stun the world. They gently awaken it. They remind us that beauty doesn't always roar. That love doesn't always demand attention. That tradition doesn't always need an audience. That sincerity, when done right, can be louder than any headline. That authenticity, when true, can be felt by anyone, anywhere without translation. And that is exactly what Yu Long and Yang Mei Mei's traditional Chinese wedding gave the world. A pause. Breath. A quiet echo that continues to linger in hearts everywhere.